Hello, my name is Alexandra Landry, and my goal today is to bring awareness about mental illness. It might have come to your attention that mental illness is now ranked as our main problem in our society. The issue that alarms most people is that this is an illness that is invisible. We cannot identify it by simply observing someone. Now, what is a mental illness? It is a disease of the mind, a psychological state of emotion and problems. It can affect anyone, and it does not discriminate against age, race, or gender. Studies show that in about a year, 1 out of 5 Canadian under 65 will possess a mental illness. Not only the person with the mental illness is affected, family members, friends, and colleagues can also be affected indirectly. Mental illness more often develops during adolescence or young adulthood. If it goes on without being treated or overlooked, it can be devastating, and it can affect the family and most of all the person itself. Never-ending research has shown that complex combination of genetics, physical, and social events occurring in the person's life are the main causes of mental illness. Now, there are many mental disorders that can be diagnosed. For example, anxiety disorders, also eating disorders, mood disorders, personality disorders, schizophrenia, and etc. Many of you might not be aware that suicide is in fact not considered to be a mental illness. People that are affected by a mental illness are not known to be violent, contrary to popular belief. We've read about it and heard about it in the news that shootings or other violent acts are caused by people suffering from a mental illness. But in fact, studies show that only 3 to 5% of crimes in our society are caused by people affected by a mental illness. Now that's not that many. The dangers of a mental illness are more pinpointed towards the person affected by the illness. A person suffering from a mental disorder can lead them towards suicidal thoughts and suicide, feeling hopeless, helpless, and desperate. Those who suffer from a mental illness should not be given up on. Even though mental illness is hard to diagnose and is considered to be a chronic disease, which means that it is lifelong, that doesn't necessarily mean that the symptoms are constantly present. Treatment and support can help decrease the amount of times the symptoms will occur, and the disease can go into remission. The first step to treating a mental illness is a suitable inspection of the person's condition. Training, counseling, and diagnosis is made. The doctor will then prescribe medication and a team of mental health specialists to help deal with the issue. It's important for family members and friends to get involved and to help towards full recovery. It's very difficult to understand a mental illness, and sometimes that's why some people get scared. But the more you understand, the more the fear starts to go away. It's also very possible to prevent a mental illness from surfacing and to improve a mental disorder. For example, by improving nutrition, and also improving your housing, and improving access to education, reducing economic insecurities, and building stronger community networks, and overall just having a better lifestyle. People suffering from mental disorders are scared that one might surface. It is important to know that you are not alone and that there are people that you can speak to. Thank you so much for listening.